I have a few different topics I want to talk about, so I am going to do a couple of short ones. And one of them is about gut health. Yesterday, and I think it was yesterday, I started talking about the bread and then I forgot what I was talking about. And because I was saying I used to eat the potato bread and the store keeps being out. I was going on and ordering food and then going and picking up the bag, and the store kept being out of potato bread. So I had to go and get a different kind. And I knew I didn't want to get wheat. I know wheat's super bad for you. You can look up about that. There's a book called Wheat Belly, I think. But there's a lot of talk about how bad wheat is for us because there's so much stuff in our diet that's super, super bad for us. And so I got some kind of oat nut bread. And a loaf of bread's like $4. I think a loaf of bread when I was a kid was like a dime. So, my stomach has been just going crazy. It is just like crampy, and it feels like bloated. And, it reminds me back of when I was having so many problems when I had colitis. Oh my God, and it went on for a while. It wasn't, I was having these problems with my stomach for a long time. The medicines were causing problems, and every time I would tell them, they're just, oh, you got another problem. We need to add another pill. You got more pills? You got problems. We got pills. That's their attitude. Let's look at this. What could be going wrong with this pill maybe that is causing you to, your symptoms to be worse or making new ones? Oh, no, they don't think about that. No, that would be out of the big pharma protocol. So, there's a lot of practitioners, because there was so much limitations that started being put on them, they were like backing them in a corner because that's how the system does. And, raising their insurance, the cost of schooling. And then they were making all of these different things. So you had to be on insurance plans. You had to be like a HMO, PPO provider in order to get customers, clients, patients, whatever you want to call these people. It is customers and clients, really. And then they started reducing how much that they could get paid. So they say they want 180 for the appointment. Well, the insurance says, well, we'll give you a 60, and then we're going to reduce that, and you can get 10 of it from them, and we'll give you 45. So they play all these games, but it's all part of the system to back a doctor into a corner. So then the doctor is the lapdog for Big Pharma. So Big Pharma pays them trips. They give them all sorts of incentives. That's why, they track all the stuff with prescriptions so that they know who to give the payoffs to, and certain companies, like say AstraZeneca, Johnson, whatever, all the different ones, they have different payments that they'll pay. Oh, we've got this one. Working in an office and dealing with drug reps, it is very competitive field, and there's a reason why they all start making so much money. But yeah, that's like, oh, well, we've got this antidepressant and it blah blah blah. Well, we've got this one and it blah blah blah. We'll give you a trip to Hawaii if you use ours. We'll give you a trip to Portugal if you it's this going back and forth, and the doctors are just like, they're struggling to make their bills, and then you get up in their ego world, it's who's got the bigger house, who's got the nicer car. Did you update yours last year? What's your tech system? It's just this ridiculous competitiveness, and what drives these people to commit crimes, essentially. So, and a lot of them don't question things. They're taught in the schools. I mean, it's shown. You go in and do your research, which, by the way, it gets kind of funny at this point when people start trying to argue about stuff, because they make themselves so clear. I don't do any research. I'm just following the narrative, and I'm going to argue with you because I'm argumentative. But what I see really is just a desperation to hold on to what makes sense. Trying to keep it together. Like, oh, please, I got to keep putting it together. It's got to make sense. What happens when the world falls apart? And that's why you got to ride it like a wave. And remember, this is supposed to happen. This is your consciousness getting to freaking find out what it is all about, your soul. So this all has to fall apart. You don't hold on, let it go. So anyways, with the diet thing and stuff. So we've got tons and tons of people, you know, who are suffering with, they come up with diagnosis and stuff. Oh, what I was going to say about the research, just look it up, you know, how Rockefeller got all involved in the colleges and the education and the medical, and it all goes back to the same people. So when, you know, and it's all the university, it's all part of the same system, and it's all to give us that desire, chase this piece of paper. Oh, especially the ones you can frame and hang them on the wall. Ooh, especially if they have a really Ivy League name. Oh, hell yeah. They got people just fucking go stomp on their mother to get to those places. Get that fucking piece of paper. They need that. Is it their ego that needs it? Do they need a piece of paper so they feel good about themselves? I don't know. That's all individual. And everybody's on their own soul journey to learn about themselves. So in the, you know, what they're telling us about food, which is all, they also, you know, they have control of our food. So of course they're going to push what foods could we get the most poison in? Let's see. Let's tell them they need to eat that. Yeah. If we tell them they need to eat that like 3 times a day, yeah, I think we could do a pretty effective thing. I think by the time they're 55, they'll be on a nice set of medications to keep them alive for the next 10 years until we kill them off for good. You know, that's this system. That's these people who run this world. That's what they do when they get together. After they all have their Thanksgiving meal and they open each other's presents and stroke each other's ego, they go in and try and figure out what's the next step to fucking cause us grief, to kill us, to, you know, massacre our lives, because theirs is more important. So all of the stuff that they tell us about food and stuff is lies. There's some doctors, you know, who had enough common sense, who went in and they started seeing things and started seeing through the narrative and started trying to clarify for people, you know, did their own research. Stella, stop, okay? I'm talking. Who knows what she's freaking barking? It's not even 6 o'clock in the morning. She'll go outside. If I let her out, she'll go out and just start barking. And then she's scared these people are going to shoot her. These people are wackadoo. Wackadoodly-doo. So, anyways, so they tell us to eat, you know, what is good. You know, what is it? Because they can grow it in mass or whatever. They have an agenda. Hey, girl, I'm talking. Quit being rude. They have an agenda, whatever it is they're doing. And so, you know, people are going, and they'll come up with these diagnoses. Oh, well, you know, they got the IBS. Then they got to clarify the IBS even more. Oh, well, you can have the constipated IBS, or you can have the diarrhea IBS, you know, and you got all these people going around in there, you know, their guts are hurting, they're constipated, they're uncomfortable, they're sluggish, you know, they're just trying to eat healthy, they don't know what the fuck, and, you know, their system's, you know, fighting back, you know, your body's fighting back, and it's like, what is happening? I'm trying to do everything right, and it's because everything that telling you is right isn't right, it's wrong. And it is when we start to listen to our bodies, then that's when we start getting into like, and you got to really tune in. You know, there's some foods that affect other people much worse than affect, like 2 people can eat the same thing and somebody can have a really bad attack of it and somebody else won't. And that's where it starts coming into our DNA and where we're actually from. Like if you go in and you read Stephen Gundry, which I totally, you know, and he's got some really scientific ones. And if you can really understand about science, you know, challenge yourself and go in and read them and how he explains about food. But we should be eating what is local and what grows locally and stuff. That's one way to improve our system. And Stella, will you stop, please? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think it's because it's raining and she hears the noise. Okay, hold on. I'll let her out for a whole 2 seconds. I don't know why you gotta be so rude sometimes. Oh, God. So I swear, this is like frazzled nerves. I think she's frazzled. I'm frazzled listening to her cry. And as soon as I've been up since 3. As soon as I even lay down to shut my eyes, it's like she has a sensor. And she's jump up and I know she's uncomfortable. I just know we just got to get through this last bit. It's like we can see the finish line up ahead, but it feels like they keep moving it. You're getting close and then they move it. And then you're getting close and then they move it. It's like, come on, let us get across. So anyways, the food thing, it is, our bodies aren't designed to digest some of the stuff that they're telling us to eat. And, in your DNA all the way back to your ancestors and stuff, you have particular things that they would have been more accustomed to eating. Like, I always think about, like in Alaska, where they lived so much off whales and whale fat and stuff like that. And I feel like I'm more drawn to fat. Like, that is something that is inside my DNA all the way going back. So you have a certain way. And that's why I think it's super crazy for people to just be like, just go vegan. There's people whose DNA, their bodies can't handle it. They need to listen to their body. There's a lot of people who get super sick trying to switch over and not eat any meat and go vegan and all that stuff. If your body's telling you to do that, you could have been from someplace where there was no meat around. All you guys did was eat vegetables and fruit. You could have been an islander of some type, and it's in your DNA, and it's a natural instinct, and it's a natural process for your body, but not everybody's is the same. And that's why we got to quit listening to other people tell us, we got to do our own research, get in touch with our own body. I can tell you some people who gave me great information, definitely Stephen Gundry, but each person has their own things they're dealing with. I was dealing with a lot of problems with gut health. And, the medicines that the pills and stuff they give you completely attack different parts of our system. And so I had to really focus on gut health. And I learned a lot about our food, things I had no idea about. So, and it's really given me new insight of how I should eat and recognizing different symptoms in my body, like when my body's reacting. And, like my kombucha, I make the kombucha, and like I said, it is so great for your gut health because it gives you the good bacteria, because most people have way too much bad bacteria, and that's why they have so many stomach issues, because they need to combat that and get more good bacteria in there, because the good bacteria eats all the stuff up. And then, when you go to the bathroom and stuff, it's healthier. It's just healthier. You will see huge improvement if you start doing some kind of fermented foods or get more of that vinegar. Just look up different things that give good bacteria, because there's yogurt too, but you have to eat tons and tons of it from what I understand. But anyways, I do the kombucha and I make my own because it gets to be expensive. And lately I've been taking it out a little bit sooner because I keep running out. So I keep, I'll go ahead. It's ready. And it's so good when it's still got, I think it still has some sugar, like all the sugar isn't all eaten up yet. And because some of my batches would be very vinegary. And when I would drink those, my stomach would be like golden. Oh my gosh. But that I kind of reduced it a bit. So then it's like, well, I don't know, is the sugar giving it problems? Is it the changeover in the bread? Like, those are the kinds of things you have to start paying attention to for your own self. And, but that's why I said yesterday when I was making those beans and I turned it into a chili, by putting chili powder, and it had onions and tomatoes and stuff in it. But, and I put like that liquid smoke. I always thought that liquid smoke was kind of yuck, but when I'm making like soup or something like that, or beans, and you put a little bit in, it really does, and you're not using any stock, any kind of meat stock or whatever, and you put that smoke in, it really does give a flavor like that there is stock in there. So anyways, oh, and when I said about putting the vinegar in chili is really good. And that was something I always got from my dad, who he probably got it from his dad, who they came across from the Ukraine. So there's just so many things in America, in all of, I swear, I think it's all of the places that speak English. Think about it. How is there these places all over the place that speak English? Like in these other places that have their own language. I don't know. I feel kind of like that was very, I feel like the ones who speak English, we've got more deep state control or something. Like, it's just weird. I just started thinking about that, and I started thinking, how weird. Why is it? Like, they're spread out all over, because why doesn't everybody just speak English then? Why is there still places that have their own language? So, I don't know. It's just weird. So, anyways, with the food, though, the Stephen Gundry, when he goes in and he explains, like tomatoes are really bad for you, wheat, oats and grains. And see, when I was having so many problems with my stomach, they were like, eat more fiber, get more grains, and I'm trying to eat more grains, and that was the worst thing to be doing. It was causing more problems. So yeah, you got to really be aware, and that's why we got to stop listening to what we're told. Don't listen to what you're told. Think about it. You have you have knowledge inside of you, and focus on your own body, and not just, I don't know, I just think so many people just are so, everybody's body's so poisoned and just feels yuck, and then they, want to just feel better, and, everybody's just eating junk and drinking beer and, and going outside of themselves to try and feel better. Everybody's just in a really unhealthy place right now in the world. And, it's us who has to, recognize that we can have more, that we can do more, we can be more. But definitely with gut health, it is super important, and it can really start improving. I mean, you can focus on your gut health, and you may lose 5 pounds in the first couple of weeks, just really focusing on your gut health and noticing what things you should cut out of your diet, being more tuned in to how your body reacts to foods. So anyways, there's some more stuff I wanted to talk about, but I was just thinking about, so many people. I mean, they come up with these vague diagnoses, and they just give us these diagnoses just so they can associate a pill with it, It's not really productive. It's not helping us. And when we rely on them, then, they just come up with another pill. Oh, what company's paying you this week? Who's paying for your vacation? Is that the pill I'm going to take? We got to get out of that. Well, I mean, we know that they're collapsing anyways. We're not really going to have a choice, but still, we need to get ourselves on that path. We need to start taking control over our own health, and, stop relying on the manipulation that they use just to trap us on the medicine. I mean, when they'll go to the point of manipulating children to transition out of one gender into another, just to lock them into taking medication. Look at the control they have over the medication. Oh no, we got a way better pill now. It's only $1,000 a month, but that's what works. It's not covered under insurance because it's so new, but that will cease all of these other problems you're having. Well, they make those problems in the other pill to get you to go to the other pill, because it's all a little play in their system. Oh, well, we can't use that one anymore. No, but it's way better now. We got way better. It's just, we got a problem with insurance coverage, but this is the newest, the latest, and the greatest. They're all just, they're selling a fantasy, and they're snake oil salesmen selling us a fantasy. And some people are just gullible and sit there like, oh, yeah. Oh, I can feel better if I just take this. Okay. I bought into it until they freaking had me so sick. And it's been for me, everything that has gone on has been either get your shit together or you're not going to make it. It's a survive or die situation. And, it is that way, I think, for most of us. And, but a lot of us aren't even recognizing it. So it's time to wake up and recognize the truth. I'll be back in a minute.